Hello everybody, my name is Maina Kirubi. I'm a member of the men's ministry here at Ridgeways Baptist Church. And today I want to talk about children, and for that matter, fatherhood in children or children in fatherhood. The Lord gives us very many gifts while we are here on earth, and many things that we experience and we enjoy obviously come from the Lord. But out of all those things, the only gift that we will be questioned about in heaven will be our children. Where are they? Now, Psalms 127 verse 3 to 5 makes it very clear that children are a gift from God and not a prize. It is not compulsory for the Lord to give you children, because there are many people who don't have children and yet they're equally blessed. So children are a gift. Once we understand that children are a gift from God, maybe it is important also, just like the many other gifts that we're given, how do we use them? So, for us to ensure that we do go back with our children to heaven, it is important for us to first and foremost be friends to our children. I have experienced, and I'm sure all of us have experienced and know, I can quote, or in their minds, a favorite uncle. Why are they our favorite? And if you're one of those favorite uncles, why you? I would want to maybe bring out that being friendly to your children is one way of winning the confidence of them wanting what you have. As in, what are your values? For them to respect and actually want to be like you. Are you going to ensure that even those children get to heaven? Or are you one of the stumbling blocks? So fatherhood, not only does it touch on your very own children, but what about the children around you? Your nephews, your nieces, your neighborhood children? What do they think about you? Are you their friend? If you are not, how can you be their friend? When you befriend your children become a barometer for your friends. And this is just a very simple question. Are you able to trust the friends that you keep? Can you trust them with your children? If your answer is no, then really, is that a friend? Children, for us to ensure that we take this gift back to heaven as fathers, it is important for them to even understand where heaven is, who is in heaven, and why you want to go there in the first place. Many times when we were young, we were scared about hell, and therefore our choice of a better place was heaven. But other than just frightening them into that, we are charged with the responsibility of being the priests of our home, and therefore bringing out the love of Christ that we experience for our children also to carry that. Would you love to have your children excited about Jesus the way you are? Do the children know your God as your God and not their God? Proverbs 22:6 is very clear about raising up a child in the way he should go. That raise up a child in the ways of the Lord, and he's old, he will not depart from it. That is okay. But also realize that if you raise up a child in another way, when he is old, he will also not depart from that. A good example is, I remember when I was in primary school, my father, when he needed to buy me uniform, would go to a place in Windibingu Street, which was called School Outfitters. That was in the 70s. By the time my son was going to pre-unit, when I had to buy a uniform, I could not think of anywhere else. And I went to that very shop, School Outfitters on Windibingu Street. Now what was interesting is this. My father had gotten into a relationship with this Muhindi man who owned the shop. And every time he would see us and he would be excited and he would sell us and we would get a discount. But the time I was going there, I did not find that Muhindi man. I found his son. So the same way my father trained me on where to buy a uniform, his father also trained him on where to sell uniform. And this is passed on from generation to generation. I got born again when I was in my 20s. So prior to that, I had watched my father, who was not born again, live his lifestyle and admired it. So by the time I was around 20, I used to go to the same places that I thought he would go, and I would consume the same things he was consuming. Why? Because I was just emulating him. Therefore, we Christians, since we don't do some of those things, the question is, what you do your children admire it? Is it something they're looking forward to? That when they are old, or when they are your age, they will be doing it. Now, the dangers of not walking with your children in the ways of God is that you can be very diligent in ministry and in many other places, and people look up to you in many ways. And the question is, as they do that, as maybe a great preacher or a great Christian businessman out in the marketplace, people respect your values and all those things. But I know in Judges chapter 2, from verse 7 up to 10, it says Joshua died and the people of his generation died. Unfortunately, from verse 10 onwards, what happened is the generation that came after Joshua did not know God. As far as they were concerned, Joshua died with his God, and they decided to serve the gods of the land. And God was annoyed with them. And of course, he delivered them to their enemies. Put myself in those shoes. Are my children conversant with the God I serve? Or is God the God of their father? It is upon us to disciple our children and walk with them and show them the ways of God, if we are going to have generations that will worship God in future. I was reading about a pedigree. The pedigree is normally the lineage of the male. If you have a strong racehorse, a champion racehorse, that is what is used to breed future racehorses. When I look at certain families, like our football families, like Mariga and his brother, their father was a footballer right here in the country. We look at David Rudisha, his father too was an athlete. We remember Joe Kadenge, his children too played for the national team. We all cannot be sportsmen of great repute. However, the little work that God has given us to do, are your children able to take that mantle after you? As fathers, I would want, and I feel challenged, that even as I reach out to my children, I also ought to reach out to my children's friends. If I want my children to know Christ, it is of equal importance that their friends too get to know Christ through me. When the Lord asks you, where are your children? What will you say? Are they with you in heaven? Or if they're still on earth, what are they doing, especially towards the work of God? Thank you, and God bless you.